they sorted out their drafts a bit. Luxury beat Saigon Buffalo 2-1. Team Secret almost took a game off GAM and arguably should have done so. And now Team Flash taking a game off Cerberus. Maybe they can take the series off Cerberus as well.
You know, kind of not quite looking at the sort of day of upset or week of upsets like we saw in that in LPL that the other week, but yeah, we're definitely seeing teams on the bottom end of the scale start to fight back, and that is so good because I was very worried we were just going to have these two very distinct areas of the games of the league where it's just like, well, this side matters, this side doesn't. But if we can see these upsets, see these pushbacks, like even if Flash doesn't win the series, they still manage to take a game, and that is something that still makes it feel like no one's out quite yet. Not 100%, except maybe BTS, but
well, we'll see if Burst the Sky have anything that they can bring up in the latter stages. We're getting to that stage where teams are starting to secure their playoff spots. We saw GAM securing their playoff spot, but if Cerberus lose this series to Team Flash, all of a sudden it means that the likes of Luxury, SBTC, and Flash still have that chance, a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless of being able to make it into playoff. Cerberus and Team Secret currently 5 wins and 4 losses, or they will be if Cerberus lose this. The likes of Luxury, SBTC, 3 wins and 6 losses.
Yeah, Buffalo, of course, also would really like to sort of have their mistake of yesterday sort of rectified, maybe softened, by Cerberus getting upset themselves, so they don't have that sort of extra win in theory under their belt. But Dante's going to make a first move. Good.
Well, heading into Game 3, it was all tied. In Game 3, it's looking like Team Flash want to be making their mark first. Pun able to survive, and First Blood still on the cards.
Yeah, not able to actually get anything done, and it's just they don't have the damage to really punch through the Crocodile, and it feels bad because that's a Ghost and a Flash blown for nothing, because Pun already blew the Flash. Pun blew at level 1, so that's going to be up.
Ghost. That was already on cooldown from something.
Ah, okay. But either way, it's still some Dispel advantage for Pun, realistically. He's going to lose the use the teleport, and Yoshino, he's going to actually walk back to lane. There's not a hard shove coming out from the Renekton, so going to be able to catch that wave quite comfortably and hold onto this teleport advantage for now. Back with a colorful Pun. Going to feel quite comfortable in this tank matchup.
Okay. Well, we've seen differing games so far in this series, but what we have seen as a relatively common theme is in the first 10 minutes, Cerberus come out on top. And Game 2 was one of the best early games I've seen from any team in a long time. The rotation that Pun, Fuquan, and Yado had, well, it wasn't Yado in that game, but Pun, Fuquan, and Jane had moving between lanes, being able to find advantages was absolutely incredible. Pun, again, tries to roam down, finds Dante. Those two are going to duke it out. Ellis actually can't join into this. And now Fuquan looking towards the mid lane as well. But once again, everyone stays alive, albeit not as healthy as they initially were.
Yeah, we're seeing moves come out of Cerberus that feels like they're trying to replicate it, but they don't quite have... They don't have quite the same level of impact coming in. Ellis playing really far back, playing nice and safe. As I say that, well, there's going to be this engage. It's not going to amount to much there.
It's Chaos Storm. Whether it's good chaos or evil chaos is yet to be seen. And this Kai'Sa pick for Team Flash is one question mark. Everything else looked good. Sure, it's a bit short range for the side of Team Flash, but that Kai'Sa maybe not quite fitting the composition. Maybe having the likes of a Corki could have worked better. But there's a lot of pressure, I feel, on Airless to perform in this third and final game of the series.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to sort of step up and do a lot of damage to sort of set up the team fights for Flash, because they can all engage at once and they are definitely set up for it. But if Airless can land any of these Prayer Seekers once they've got two to three items under the belt, they can actually just make it so Cerberus has no response. They have to panic and split and try and do everything they can to not get engaged on, because the poke would just be too much. And it's coming out alright. Like, Yoshino's being able to put a fair amount of hurt onto the Crocodile. He's not winning in the CS department by any means, but might win in the fight.
This is that really badass Ornn combo that just does an insane amount of damage in a very short space of time. I think he actually missed out on one of the clapping in it.
That was a mistake. Not going for the clap first, because you clap W and then clap again, but no, just misses out on a clap, goes straight for the W. It's a flash out from Pun, but it's a flash out from Yado in response, as Dante passes his way through the mid lane on his way towards this dragon. But there is priority for the side of Cerberus, so going to have to mosey on back to his own jungle. And Fukwon knows Dante is on the bot side of the map, so feels comfortable taking this rift out.
It's almost a little game that Dante is playing. He runs through a lane and then he goes up to the enemy lane and he goes flash, and the enemy lane has to flash as well, otherwise they die. And now Yado doesn't have a flash available. Pan looking to trade onto Yoshino. And I want to highlight something that Yulwei mentioned in the game analysis before we headed into this game, which is that we're starting to see some of those remnants of the great Team Flash from 2020. And every now and then we've been able to see these moments of, hey, look, Team Flash, maybe they're actually a decent team. In fact, we saw some of those moments in Winter Split, but every time they do that, it always seems to be coupled with int plays here and there. And even in that last game, that game 2 between Team Flash and Cerberus, that early game was so bad. If Flash can get this together, they can look like a good team, and we've been saying this for, I feel, a very long time now.
Yeah, their struggles have sort of been not necessarily... It's hard to say that they're not on the Rift, because they have absolutely had struggles on the Rift, but it feels like nothing has ever really clicked for Flash, but it seems to have come together. If they keep up this strategy of Yoshino picking these tanks, we'll hold that thought.
Onslaught Shadow, the fear pulls Yado out from under the tower, and first blood picked up by Dante. A fantastic early game performance by the Hecarim so far.
Yeah, he's made his pressure, he's put the pressure down, but not overcommitted to ridiculous dives or anything like that. He's just sort of passed his way through, picked up a flash here and there, and returned comfortably for that Onslaught of Shadows gank onto Yado. So it's an okay trade back onto Airless in terms of damage, but can't pick up the kill. And this gives them a very nice start to work with. Couple plays to Pun. So he's doing his best to make the most out of this matchup, but only 5 CS. It's not really gonna affect the Ornn all that much. Very comfortably making their way towards that first mythic item. They've taken a couple of fights to them plenty already. Yeah, Yoshino is sitting quite pretty right now. He's losing lane, but he's feeling fine.
Once bitten, twice shy. In game 1, Cerberus didn't pick up their first Drake until about 18 minutes. Here in game 2, they won't make any such mistakes, with Fukwon picking up that Hextech Drake before 10.5 minutes in. And now they're looking towards the bottom lane. Ace in the hole will chip Artie down, and Fukwon looking for that opportunity to dive. He's got the ultimate available. He can disable that outer tower if he needs to.
Yeah, the bubble lands onto Artemis, which might slow them down in terms of taking the dive, but yeah, just playing it slow, not really wanting to overforce anything and mess up, give an option back. If that bubble misses, I feel that does signal the go, because the follow-up can be pretty much instant, but with that bubble, yeah, probably just saying, oh, Artemis isn't going to be able to put out the damage in time for the tower will turn back on and screw everything up. So it's all good. Dante back to sort of lurking around this mid lane, trying to give Hellas as much space as they need to scale into this Kai'Sa build, just slowly farm up safely. But here comes Pun trying to change all that.
I'm looking for the play
No
onto
flash.
airless. Pun has been rotating a lot so far, not just in this game, but in game 2 as well. Sadly, though, for him in this game, he's not really been able to find many plays. Now, Rift Herald has been dropped down. Cerberus able to get the first Drake of the game and the first Rift Herald, and this will give them a lot of tower plates. The Onslaught of Shadow comes through into the core of the Forge God. This is the team fight composition that Team Flash drafted. It's Arte who picks up the kill, courtesy of the tidal wave. Are Team Flash done with the fight? Yes, they are. They'll take the 1 kill and they'll back away.
Interesting for Cerberus to try and commit so much into just dropping it straight into the mid lane. I don't necessarily think your Victor was in a position where you had to really try and push them ahead, whereas the standard strategy of just accelerate the Caitlyn as fast as possible, that seems like the obvious play, like honestly a smarter play overall. But they go in for this, and it's a nice rotation from Yoshino. He has all the time in the world. Slater and Arte coming up as well, able to completely to secure this with a good CC chain. Puts Yado into a very unhappy position for his first game of the day.
Well, things are looking good for Team Flash right now. They lost the opening game. They were losing the start of game 2. And now they find themselves leading 12 minutes into the game. We're not 20 minutes in just yet. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. But it is a good start nonetheless for Team Flash. And Dante has been at the center of everything so far. And we were commenting, you know, when we did yay or nay, Dante or Ikigai, we both went nay on Dante. But, okay, game 1 was a bit yikes. But game 2 and 3, I think he's been proving us wrong a bit.
Yeah, very, very rough game 1 and start of game 2. Absolutely just being a very easy pressure point for Cerberus to just kill over and over again in that second game. But now he's sort of pulled himself back off the throttle a little bit, playing it a little bit easier. And this hack room is working out very well for him, it seems. He's played it very well. He's gotten a lot of value out of it. And so far, Cerberus hasn't been able to find anything back. They aren't able to push this bot lane advantage as much as they really want to do. To be honest, they haven't even really tried, it feels like, not sending anyone down there. There was a pitiful attempt of a gank from Fuquan, where he just walked in, cleared a tri-brush ward and left. And kind of with the bad use of that Rift Herald just dropping into the mid lane, I just feel like Cerberus are kind of looking a little bit lost, looking like, wait, what do we do again? How do we play League of Legends? We're meant to be winning it already. What's going on?
Well, yeah, for Fuquan it's not going great. But then again, you look at the lanes, I feel like it's only in the top lane where Cerberus should truly have an advantage. I feel like in the bottom lane, sure, you know, the Caitlyn does outrange the Nami and cause some issues, but it is still Lucian. Nami still can do a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely put the threat down, but it should be winning ambiently a lot harder. Never mind, hold up.
Stormbringer onto 3 members. RT is low. The Chaos Storm ticking down, but Team Flash looking to turn the fight around. The Chaos Storm will end. Artemis joining into the fray. Where is Slater? He's in the mid lane as the ace in the hole, tanked up by Airless, and Team Flash forced to retreat as a teleport comes through from Pun. Who is he going to focus on? The focus onto Yoshino for now. There is a blast cone. Good Aqua Prison will stop Pun from aggressing any further, and now Cerberus will back away. But Slater is here. Team Flash could look for a round 2. The Rift Herald secured and picked up by Yado.
Yeah, Yado manages to pick it up, so this should be able to... This might be looking... Hold on. Doesn't stop.
Well, Onslaught of Shadows, Dante's been playing incredibly aggressively so far this game, and Slater gets the kill onto Fuquan. And again, it all stems from Dante making these aggressive plays. That was a weird cue from Artemis. As Ezreal would say, that was a warning shot.
Yeah, but they're probably not. They dropped that so far up the lane that they might not even be able to get it to charge. Can they do it? Can it charge? She does it. Good job, Shirley. You've served your purpose.
Was that Shirley? Oh yeah, yeah. We're calling it Shirley. It's Kelly.
No, yeah. Shelly and Shirley.
I know. I tried to do a thing back when I was casting in NA and Shirley was first introduced. I was trying to call it Kelly so that everyone would call it Kelly. But as you may be able to tell from everyone calling it Shirley, I failed. So
you do not have quite the same sway power as good old Atlas.
Yeah.
But
maybe in a few years.
It's a nicer go on a re-engage from Dante. He's a little bit too far, but Yado does not want to tank up this culling any longer and opens up the path for Fuquan to just take the rest and get taken down. The Rift Herald fight that they won earlier does sort of mean they're able to clap back with the tower and keep the gold pretty happy, but there's still it's still a three kill difference, and there's a very, very happy Cerberus going on right now. They're not, sorry, Team Flash rather. Oh, but this might change that.
Airless has been caught, has a flash available, but the Chaos Storm gives a silence, and it means that Airless cannot flash over the wall. And Cerberus to get their first kill of the game. 17 minutes in. That's how long it's taken for Cerberus to get a single kill. Team Flash have been playing this game very well thus far.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup for Teams Cerberus. It goes on to the Caitlyn as well, which is pretty much what you want. You want that Caitlyn to be trying to race through this mid game as quickly as possible. And now Dante once again looking to make something happen. Just steal these away from Pun, give Yoshino the time to get this Demolish proc on in the top side. And Yado feeling comfortable picking up this bot lane tower uncontested. Cerberus are playing the sort of macro pretty well. They're able to walk around the map and sort of take control. Having that mid lane tower down opens up this bot lane and opens up Airless for another kill.
Yeah, Killer Instinct into the flash, but the Stormbringer will come through. Fuquan will pick up the kill. The sidestep on the tidal wave along with Yado dropping down at the gravity field. That prevents Slade and Arctic progressing further. It is a big bet. Again, this focus from Cerberus onto Airless. There's nothing Airless can do about that. That's not a misplay from the Kaiser. That's just Cerberus putting all of their resources into shutting him down. Yeah,
that Airless can't, not too much that she could do. They went all the way back under the tower, the inhibitor tower, but that just gets turned off. And yeah, it's a really good play from Cerberus to just overload this one side of the map. You're not too bothered about Yoshino taking this top lane tower as long as you can, keep it slow, stem it a little bit while you completely open up this other side. And now you can sort of twist this around and overload the top side of the map if you want and try and do the same there and just hold this bot lane as you hard shove this top lane through and try to take those two towers. And that sort of would bring them right back. Currently they're ahead. It's only 500 gold lead, so it's not all that much, but they were down for most of this game, and now they are right back in it.
Also, it does look like Artemis building towards some armor pen. And we saw Artemis's issue in game 2 on the Jhin. It couldn't get through Yoshino. And now, when that last Whisper gets, or when we get the Lord Dominic's Regard, then some of that armor from Yoshino and Dante will be doing far less work.
Yeah, actually going to be able to put in the pain against these big tanks, and that's what we need to see. I'm very glad to see this coming through from Artemis instead of going for the sort of standard, the thing we've seen a lot, which is we want to go for the rapid fire cannon because range is good. Range when you're not actually dealing any damage is not fantastic. It doesn't actually matter, but this will do great. I'm very happy to see it. Thank you, Artemis. You have you have remembered to build correctly. You are not losing instantly anymore. And that's good. Now, good setup with the trap line. It's going to slow down the aggression from Team Flash as they have to navigate their way through the tiny gaps left behind. And that lets them clear the wave and calm the siege down. But Flash has control over this river. This dragon should be theirs. And look at all this gold being funneled directly onto Victor. They are giving it all to the Victor. It's actually kind of insane that this is their choice and not the Caitlyn. And it's not a bad one at all. But it feels a little bit different.
And it just shows how much faith that Cerberus do have in Yado. Despite having subbed him out in the previous game, they're bringing him back in his one and only game of the day, his only game of this series. and they're funneling resources towards him, especially when you consider that Artemis is going to be hitting that power trough as a Caitlyn after, you know, the 1-2 item mark, and Yado forced to teleport away. Killer Instinct. Ellis sees the teleport and decides against burning the ultimate.
Yeah, he's fine. He's forced to teleport out, and they've picked up a dragon for themselves. It's great. He defends the tower. It will fall down eventually. It's been taken down to quite low, but yeah, it's not too bad from him. And Yado, he's picked up 3 towers for himself essentially, and it's picked him up to this 2-item power spike. Lots of CDR on this build. Got that extra % health damage to help cut through this pretty hefty front line of Yoshino and Dante. So far, Cerberus building very, very well right now.
Just looking at some of those items for Cerberus coming through. 2 items on Artemis, 2 items on Yado, 1 item for Pun and Fuke1. Let's talk a little bit about Pun, because Pun is on this Renekton, and we talked about in our first series of the day between Team Secret and GAM the fact that there was a Renekton, but we said you're allowed to pick Renekton, it's Kiaya. But Pun on this Renekton has not got a lead over Yoshino. In fact, Yoshino with a very tiny, minute CS advantage. Pun has no kills. I feel like this Renekton has not been able to accomplish its objective in the early stages of the game.
He did okay in sort of in the very early stages of like trying to control the way, like winning out in CS. Hold that.
Well, we'll hold that thought. Fuke1 is under his own tower, but he's going to fall at Dante again. Dante pulls that R trigger, and someone is going to die from the side of Cerberus. It's been happening time and time again. Team Flash have such a good way of being able to start up a fight, and it seems that Cerberus have no answer to it currently.
Yeah, they don't have the effective peel to come through, and they're going to convert this kill. They've got the jungle, they've got the AD carry, they're going to try and turn into a Baron. Yado can do a lot of damage though.
Well, gravity shield drop. Pun tries to go into the backline. The heal already used, but RT has now fallen. Look how low Pun is. The Baron down to 1,000 health. Void Seeker doesn't land onto anyone, and the Baron has now been secured. Team Flash could back away, but they could also go in for the play. Dante looking towards Yado. Look how low Hubert is as Dante forced away. Yoshino dropping down some damages. Decathian rains down, picks up the kill onto Pun. Yado dropping down damage onto Slater, but maybe stepping forward too far. Diving on in with a searing charge. Yado goes gone, but as soon as he comes out of stasis, he gets a momentary shield, but it's not enough. Acing the whole tanked up by Dante. Void Seeker will miss onto Hubert as Fuke1 looking for the potential play, but Cerberus can find nothing. Team Flash will get a couple of kills. They'll get the Baron, and they will back to their base.
Yeah, not able to actually convert that damage while they're all grouped up. They find an early pick onto Arte, but that's pretty much everything done. Pun is so damn low, he can't do anything in that whole fight. It's Yado, the one-man army, but not strong enough to finish off any of the kills as he went for the more defensive item of the Zhonya's. And so it is Flash that take this big win. They have so much dive that Cerberus could not respond to. They clean up, they get the Baron, and it's still on pretty much everyone they wanted on it. I believe it's only Arte that went down there. Yeah, it is. So if they choose to, they can play across the multiple lanes. But as right now, they're just grouping up. They're threatening another dive because all the ultimates are right back up for Team Flash. And once again, if they commit everything to Artemis, they can't not kill Artemis. Cerberus doesn't have enough in the tank to stop that.
Well, Cerberus, they find themselves trailing by 3,500 gold. This genuinely feels like, and I'm going to say it, it might be a cast a curse, but I'm going to say it, this feels like one of the cleanest games we have seen in the VCS this split. And the fact that it's coming from Team Flash out of all teams is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and Alice has picked up enough damage.
Yep, and down goes Yado. There is nothing to stop Team Flash right now. Every single fight, Team Flash just seem to have the complete measure of Cerberus. Now 26 minutes into the game, they crash onto the first inhibitor tower. They take it down with ease. They'll take the inhibitor down as well. 3 members of Cerberus left standing. 5 members of Team Flash.
Come on.
They're looking to take the series. They've only won 2 series so far. The first inhibitor, that is a questionable teleport. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Earl is actually meant to do that. Artemis down to half health. The final Nexus Tower will be falling. Stormbringer drop down, but instantly Fluke 1 will fall. Can you believe it? Team Flash have risen up, and Team Flash will take the series over Cerberus.
Absolutely massive from Flash. We were just earlier this series, we were calling them the worst team of the league. But they are a completely different team there. They found what works. Tank for Yoshino. Airless stepping up huge. Absolutely saving the lane phase. And that was not Dante. That was a completely new player, it felt like. It all comes together. It works out beautifully. And all they had to do was just pick a nice front-to-back 5v5 team fight to comp, apparently.
I mean, to be fair, in the end, I don't think the Kai'Sa made any difference to that. I think you could have taken any champion. But my god, Dante, what a performance! Yulwei, I can't quite believe it, but what a series from Flash. That turnaround from the middle of game 2 into... I mean, that was just a beautiful display of League of Legends in game